Have this friend. We don't live in the same city. However, we are those quick connect friends, meaning if we're in different cities, locations, that is not a barrier to our friendship. We are so good about getting back with one another, supporting each other, doing what we can to help build each other up. And so when I text this friend consistently and didn't hear back from her, I was a little concerned something was wrong with her. So I stalked her. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, I checked her out on social media to make sure she was okay. And she was just having a grand old time. And suddenly my heart began to race. My blood began to boil as I was like, you know what? I'm now ticked. Now, before you wonder what happened to the end of the story, I'm guessing you're like me. And there are some times that you have gotten hurt by a friend not getting back to you when you wish they would have, or in the way you wish they would have. That's what we're talking about today. Do you have a not so perfect life? I mean, we may look like we have it all together, but the truth is we all have stuff. Unbroken provides a brave space where we women can take off the mask, share our secret struggles, and our secrets to success. Unbroken, doing life better together. A friend of mine did not respond to multiple texts. I saw that she was fine on social media, lots of fun stuff going on with her, and so I began to get a little upset. How many of us have done that? A friend doesn't respond when we want them to, or maybe we see them on social media and there's like everyone but you at some event and you weren't even invited. I haven't had that happen ever, at least not today, but it has happened to me. Um, but these things just come up and it can hurt our hearts. And so, how do we handle the hurt? All right. Well, let me give you three suggestions. The first thing, lean into the hard. It is so easy for me to make assumptions and to start to, as Brene Brown would say, tell myself a story. So the story I was telling myself about that friend is that she didn't want to be friends anymore. I had maybe said something that offended her the last time I saw her, and that now our kids weren't even going to play together. I mean, I had made this whole story in my head instead of leaning into the hard and actually talking about it. So lean into the hard. And how are some ways that we can do that? Phone your friend. I called this friend and I was like, hey, you're alive. Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you? My heart further sank. I'm thinking, wow, she really has no clue the depths that she hurt me. Before you go judging me, I think you've been there too. There are times you've made assumptions about your friends, spouse, family members. And that's why we have to lean into the hard. And the second thing would be to fact check. Hey, girl, I have texted you 4 times. Did you get my text? I was shocked by her answer. Her answer was yes, I did. Oh, and my heart further sank. But step three, give grace. For me, grace is giving the benefit of the doubt. Grace is not making assumptions, not jumping to judgment or inferences, assuming we know what was going on, but giving the benefit of the doubt that our friends love us and support us. And if they didn't respond, there's got to be a good reason. When she said, yeah, I got your 4 texts, I've just been really busy. Okay. All right. That's kind of what I wanted to say. But what I found myself saying, and this was all God's grace, none of my self because I was going down the rabbit trail of not going to be your friend anymore. But when I leaned in and I fact checked, I said, "Well, it sounds like you've got lots going on. Is there anything I can help with?" Remember, I'm a number 2 on the Enneagram, so I love to help, but I don't love to help when I'm hurt. And so I leaned in to help despite the hurt. And when I did that, she said, "To be honest with you, things are good. I got your text. We are dealing with a situation with our teenager and have caught some stuff on his phone. And we are doing our best to stay afloat and pretend we're all okay, but we're not okay." The reason I share this story with you, I don't know that my friend would have been vulnerable with me had I gotten my defenses up, had I let my hurt determine how I handled that, and had I not given grace. So if you've got a friend, a spouse, a loved one, a family member, a colleague, and it just seems as if things are not okay, lean into the hard. Fact check. And if you just sense that they're acting off, look for some behaviors that you can fact check. So, for example, I had a colleague that seemed distance. Well, that's not a behavior, seeming distance. So, what I had to do was really figure out what behaviors led me to think that they seemed distant. And it was not making eye contact, very short answers to questions. And when I fact checked that, hey, I noticed that you're not making eye contact. I noticed that you're being really short, and usually you provide great answers. What's going on? And my tone in that moment was really one out of curiosity, not condemnation. And I extended grace, giving the benefit of the doubt. What I found is that that coworker was actually struggling with some depression and anxiety. And I want you to know that if that's where you are, there is no shame in that. And you are not alone. I've been there. I have had my own battles with depression, anxiety, those types of things. And so you're not alone in that. Ladies, this world is hard enough as it is. And when we subconsciously attack our friends, we don't give them the benefit of the doubt, we don't lean into the hard and fact check what we're feeling, the enemy can then get in between those friendships. And so I'm going to encourage us to each be proactive. My friend, Dr. Shannon Crawford, called me just today, and we are going to be working together on some things. And she said, I want to make sure that our friendship is intact first. And that is why I want us to clearly set expectations, no surprises, all of those things. And I'd never had a friend do that before. And I was so grateful that she did. Those are hard conversations. Those are not fun, and they are necessary. So let's go out of here today with grace, believing the best in our friends, leaning into the hard, fact checking, giving them benefit of the doubt, and extending grace like was extended to us. And if any of this has touched you and you've gotten anything out of today, I'm going to ask that you go give it to someone else so that they can get a nugget too. So please share this.